Hollyweird. We're tired of the anti-hero. We're sick of that. Like, you're ruining the trope of the anti-hero. In recent light of the Kraven film that's coming out, starring Alan Taylor Johnson. Um, first of all, he's Kraven's the Hunter's real name is Sergei Kravinoff. First off, Aaron Taylor Johnson, I just don't buy it. I don't see this guy. He's an English actor, best known for his portrayal of the character Kick-Ass. I do not see him playing Kraven the Hunter. I knew I saw this guy somewhere. Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass cannot play Kraven the Hunter, man. Like, I just do not see it. And it's just because he's too soft, too malleable, too much of a boy next door. He has too much of a boy next door look. I'm not, like, that's not what we're going for with Kraven the Hunter. Like, this is just not gonna. And he also played Pietro Maximoff in that was Wanda's twin brother in Avengers Age of Ultron. He's also, you really didn't recognize him there, but he played that's the role he's suited for. Something like that. Or more of a good old boy, soldier, American soldier, something like that. Kraven the Hunter, no. And again, I don't like how they're trying to make all of every villain an anti-hero, man. Spider-Man is gonna get to the point, man, where he can't do anything. Like, he's not gonna be able to he's not gonna have real villains. Everybody's gonna be his friend. Spider-Man gonna get to the point where everybody gonna be his friend. He not gonna be able to, he gonna always be sparring with him. All of his fights gonna feel like sparring. You never gonna feel a threat level from these people, And it's the same thing like when in this last Spider-Man, where he went into where Tobey Maguire was in it. He went into all these different universes. I didn't like that Spider-Man. That was one of the worst Spider-Man to me. Even though, you had all of them come together. Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, all of them. And you had this, like, basically the Sinister Six in the film. I just didn't feel any threat level. The biggest problem was that the biggest villain in that film was Tom Holland and his stupidity. That was alluded to in the Spider-Verse movie. But I just don't get why you gotta change the story, why we have the true villain's gonna be his dad, Russell Crowe, and I don't see why you had to do all of that. And you've done this with, like, Morbius, just the way that and I didn't like, Jared Leto's cool, but I didn't like that film. That whole film with trying to making him the anti-hero. First of all, establish them as the villain first. Like, it will be fine. See, this is, and I saw a comment, and I'll try to find it and post it. I saw a comment, and it was I was interested. It was an interesting comment because he was saying, the comment was saying something like, it's unrealistic to have a purely evil villain with purely evil intents and motivations. No, it's not unrealistic. You have evil in the world. You have pure evil in the world, and it's the motives and intent. People don't change themselves. People don't change. For the most part, you have people like look at a Jeffrey Dahmer or something like that. These people will tell you out their own mouth that if you release me or I get out, I'm going to do the same thing. That's why you can't release them. That's the pure evil I'm talking about. It's a steel resolve on what the villain's motivations are. They don't bend, break, or fold on that, and they don't want it. They're not worried about being your friend of the hero. Like, if they captured by the hero, they're going to let you know that if you let me loose, or if something else, or if you take your eyes off me, look, man, it's gonna be it's gonna be a problem, because I'm gonna continue with my motivations until my death. And you need that from the villain. Like, the villain really is very important to the story. In comic books, like, we're talking about comic books here. You understand? We're talking about a man swinging around on a web with the powers of a spider. Do you understand? So come on, like, I don't want to hear talk about some unrealistic and talking crazy. Like, that's why we read comics. Like, we read these things, and movies don't have to change that. You really don't. Like, you really don't. Like, you could tweak certain things for realism, but movies gotta understand. You don't, like, you could chill out. You could just go with this is source material. It's like canon material. You go with that. The comic books were very thought out. You understand? Now, you tweak them a little bit for, like I say, for realism, but you don't change the people's character. You don't do that. Like, Kraven was never the boy next door. When we were introduced to him, he was a lot more seasoned. You understand? He was seasoned in the game. I don't get it. Like, this is how bad it's gotten in Marvel. When it comes to these anti-heroes and making everything all bubbly and trying to make everybody feel good. They even ruined Carnage. In the Venom film, the second Venom film was a disaster to me. They ruined the character Venom. Venom shouldn't talk so much. Venom shouldn't, be having a bromance with Eddie Brock. Never. They shouldn't, he shouldn't even really even be relating to him like in that fashion. Or they should have bigger fish to fry than to be talking about who gonna flip the pancakes and going to LGBT meetings and things like that. And Carnage was just too campy. Like, now once he changed into the symbiote, that character, that Carnage was okay. Like, the character and the voice actor there. But Woody Harrelson and just the character overall was horrible. It was horrible. And it was horrible. You try to motivate him, and what killed him was he tried to have him being motivated for love and all this other, like, no, he's a psychopath. You understand? And he's about killing. Like, if you don't consider that to be pure evil, I don't know what to tell you. Like, but you need that. His resolve is about killing. Do you understand? Just get it to your head. You don't have to change it. But Marvel's gonna keep doing stupid stuff like that. They're gonna keep ruining these characters. Kraven the Hunter, that film's gonna flop. That movie, like, I don't want to see this. Like, I don't even want to see this. Like, I want to see Like, you don't do backstories first for characters we don't know. I want to see Spider-Man face Kraven in a film. He could be like a sub villain. He don't have to be the main villain. He should be a sub villain, because that's all he was. Kraven should be a sub villain in the film. In the next Spider-Man film. Then once we saw that, you can go try to flesh him out if the people took to the character in the film. See, but I'm giving y'all free game and things like that. But look, I'm getting sick of it. That's why I'm really I'm really into the DCU more than Marvel, And a lot of these, even the DCU can have its problems, but and that's why I'm into old school anime, like just the way that things, like the old school, like how when villains were villains. That's what I'm into. And, comics who do things like that, and the alternative comics, like, Salute the Young Ripper and the Ripperverse, people like that, and Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane has always been innovative in the things that he's done. I just hate the way things are just so watered down. Not just in film, but just in a lot of media, like anime. Japan is great though. I like the way that they always do their stories, and they don't always try to switch things just to fit in. just to, oh, let me put this in here just to fit in, just to make people feel good. You ruin. I'm a huge person who doesn't believe in ruining the art. Like, don't ruin the art. That's why I hate when they sold Star Wars, to Disney, because George Lucas basically like sold his, like, he ruined his baby. Like, you allow people who don't have as much care to have access to your baby, man, like to your creative art piece, which basically is another universe that took life itself, that took its own life, in people's hearts and minds. Like, you let people ruin it, and I don't respect that. You want to just get the bag, give me the money. No, you can't touch my intellectual property. You better, unless you're gonna produce it in the same way that it's said. And see, that's why Todd McFarlane, I mentioned him earlier, that's why he's having the problems. He having problems producing the Spawn. He wants to do it his way. The studio wants to do it another way. No, you listen to me. You understand? And we gonna make this money. Because again, y'all studios are running out of original ideas, man. They don't even know what to make. But all right, so I don't want to make this video too long and rant, but I definitely don't want to see any more of these anti-heroes for a while. Like, we want to see real villains, purely evil villains, with still resolve, motivated in their evil intentions and evil doings, or whatever doings that they have to where the hero needs to stop them. We want to see that. Like, this Transformers, before I end the video, that's a perfect example. Too perfect. Like, I just recently saw Transformers Rise of the Beast, and I watched the Flash film, the new Flash, and I must say the Flash film is better than I thought it was going to be. But in that film, both films, the villains were villains. The villains were villains, and they had a still resolve in their evil intent. Both were otherworldly beings, extraterrestrials, whatever like that. And their resolve was Zod in the Flash. He wanted, how Zod is a military conqueror. He wanted to see Krypton live again. And they were terraforming the earth for that. You understand? Their planet had been dissolved. But Zod was not playing games. That was a villain for you. You understand? Unicron in the Transformers is a planet that eats other planets. It's like a god. Unicron is the evil form, like, of God. Like, the Autobots have Primus. Primus and Unicron were the first beings created. So Unicron is like a god, an evil god. He's motivated. He's not gonna change. You can't change him. He doesn't need your therapy. He don't want to hear your kumbaya bullshit. He don't want to hear you running around talking about, oh, well, we all just need to love. And he don't want to hear that. Okay? And that's it. Like, what? And that's why I like that movie. And he had his heralds who feared him and also believed in his cause, Scourge and the others. That's what we need. You need the villain. This is what you need. You need a villainous villain, their henchmen, that you're gonna have like a sub boss under the villain, and their henchmen, and the fodder, which I consider to be like the expendable fodder, is another thing that makes them a great villain. They have people who believe in their cause, who will risk their life for them, and they're basically expendable in those villains' eyes. The villain only respects power. You understand? So that's what it is. With that being said, this is the Cool Club. I am the Glitch Trap. Bang, bang, bang. I'm gone.